What's going on YouTube? So the Tesla Model Y has been a wildly successful product since it first came out. It's actually the best-selling car in the entire world for 3 years straight. But there's a big change coming to the US lineup. Literally, this is the new Model Y L. Not only is this significantly larger with a third row, but it's also got some special features to really stand out. So is this just what Tesla needs amid all the new competition? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, so let's kick things off under the hood. Now, of course, under the hood, you'll find a frunk, but as far as the basic specifications of this model, we've got an 83 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack. At launch, it'll be offered only with dual motor all-wheel drive, meaning you have 496 horsepower. The range is rated at 325 miles.
Now, the base price of this launch series model is about $62,000, and if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price. But let's go ahead and dive into the exterior as well as the all-important interior for this new model.
So let's get right into the exterior design. Now, up here in the front for the Model Y L, you're not really going to notice any huge changes versus the standard Model Y. This was just updated last year, so you've got all the latest Tesla design elements. This will be offered originally here as a premium all-wheel drive launch series, which means you'll have the light bar going all the way across the front there and the very simple design overall. Now, in terms of the rest of the lighting, you can see that you've got your LED turn signal indicator over here. Of course, you have standard LED headlights as well, and these have the adaptive drive beams. Now, one of the big ways you can tell the L from the regular Model Y is the fact you have different wheel designs. So this will come standard with a 19-inch alloy. However, what you're looking at here is the optional 20-inch Uber Helix alloys. Very cool look to these. I think they stand out and look quite nice with the overall body. You've got a little bit of cladding around there, but not much. And as we move up here to our mirrors, they are fully loaded as you would expect, including auto dimming on both the driver and passenger side.
Now, here at the side of this Model Y L, your overall vehicle length will be about 195.6 inches, which does represent a 7-inch increase over the standard wheelbase Model Y, and then the wheelbase itself is increased by 6 inches. Now, most of that extra length can really be seen here around this area. You can kind of see that extended roofline going out a little bit more, and then you have black window surrounds and everything you would expect for this Model Y. This is the new cosmic gray color, by the way, for this year. Now, as you head around to the back, again, you continue to see that elongated roofline coming around here to the rear of this Model Y L, and there are a few other specific elements for this new model. Now, one thing that doesn't change is that you have the really raked back rear window glass right here, and that does not include a rear wiper, not even an option for this model. I know some families like to have that usability, but you do have a larger rear spoiler as well. Now, one thing that doesn't change for this premium model, you have the light bar that goes all the way across the back, and that goes into your fully LED taillight units, including your amber turn signal indicator and your reverse light down at the bottom. Like Drew said at the front, we have the launch series, so you get the specific branding for that. That will change for other models of the Model Y L. And then down here at the bottom, pretty much everything is going to be a matte black plastic, and as far as your tow rating, it's rated for up to 3,500 pounds. Now, when it comes to safety, this is a Tesla after all, so you're going to get all of your major active safety features as standard equipment for this Model Y L. They also included some extra special things like third row airbags for this model, which is a pretty rare feature to see. Also included on this launch edition is 1 free year of full self-driving. But guys, the big changes for this model happen on the inside, so let's dive into that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we have reviewed over 2,000 vehicles at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from humble to high-end, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. All right, now let's move to the interior. Of course, you've got those typical Tesla door handles, and you have your phone as key as well as NFC key cards. And then let's take a look inside the interior. Just like with the exterior, it is fundamentally still a Model Y, but you'll notice some various improvements as we go throughout the cabin. One of those things is going to be right here at the seats. So these are actually a different seat design versus the standard version of the Model Y. And we also have some additional adjustments. So you can see we've got a 16-way power adjusting seat with 2-way lumbar support. We have things like a power thigh extension. You also have manual headrest adjustment up here. As far as the seats themselves, of course, they're a faux leather, but we have perforation and some color contrast stitching. And then this is a new color as well. It's called Zen Gray. Let's go ahead and climb inside. And now that we're inside the cabin, let's look around at the overall materials. So like I mentioned, the Model Y, of course, got an update last year, which improved many of these areas. You'll see those same improvements here on the YL. We have a leatherette through here with the stitching and detail, as well as through there. Soft touch plastic along the top, and then we have a cloth insert through there. Notice that same cloth will go across the dashboard. We have leatherette through here with a stitching detail, and then down here on our lower part of the body, we have stitching and leatherette all through here. One thing that is different, though, from the regular Model Y is the fact that the armrest itself and the center console area is going to be finished in the matching Zen Gray, whereas if you got the white interior on the standard Model Y, this would all be black. But to fire it up, you just put your foot on the brake, and that will begin the vehicle. And we can jump into some individual details now. Normally, we go to the gauge cluster, but of course, Tesla doesn't do that. You have your gauge cluster information over here on the side, including the shifter itself. So you would just push forward or back, go into reverse, and you can set it up so the vehicle will just go ahead and anticipate what you want. Now, as we pull back, though, I will say, I wish there was a head-up display so that you could still continue to look forward. And then as far as the steering wheel, typical Tesla design, very simple, minimalistic. You have power, tilt, and telescoping, and heating. And of course, you adjust those things inside of the center display. Now, storage has always been a strong suit of the Model Y. That continues for the L as well. Inside, we have a large center console with a very nice felt lining. You'll see, of course, that you can slide back that and get to your cup holders. You have more storage right there, and this is an extremely deep bin. It's absolutely incredible. We will certainly be looking forward to doing our donut test because I'm pretty sure this is going to take all of the donuts with flying colors. And then finally, in front of that, you have 2 wireless phone charging pads, and these are going to be, again, standard on this model. I already talked about the shifter. One thing I do want to point out is that when we go into reverse, you have several camera views, but you do not have a true 360-degree camera system. It's still not something Tesla has added. If you have the full self-driving package, you can do automatic, parallel, and perpendicular parking. And just press that P there for park. Now, in typical Tesla fashion, pretty much all the rest of the main things are in the center display. This is a 16-inch center display, really nice looking resolution on board, and we'll kind of start at the bottom and work our way up. First of all, we've got our climate controls. This does have a dual zone automatic climate control system, so you have some level of adjustment with just the fan speeds in the back, but you can actually change the temperature itself, and you can just, of course, tap there. This is where you can control the flow of the air vent, and then you can also go to the middle and the rear rows and make different adjustments to various items inside of that. Also, over here is where you can get to your heated and ventilated seats. Both of those are going to be standard features on this model. Now, as far as the rest of the Tesla UI, of course, it is very high tech, but you don't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay abilities still. I know a lot of people do care about that, but Tesla, as well as Rivian and a few others, are not including those features. But the UI itself, we've been using it all day today, very responsive, as it always has been. You have built-in navigation, and the connectivity package is included for 1 year. Now, down here in this corner is where you find your virtual volume knob, or you can, of course, use the steering wheel control. The Model YL comes with some additional speakers versus the standard Model Y, so we're up to 19 speakers. Let's go ahead and take a sample, and you can join me along with some high-quality earbuds if you prefer. Very nice. Yeah, we've always liked Tesla sound systems. They're very well-rounded, and this one seems to be no exception. The extra speakers kind of make up for the extra space, of course. All right, let's kind of move on from the center display, and we'll take a look up here at our mirror. We've got the auto dimming mirror. Of course, you can program your garage doors inside of the main display. And then there's something I definitely want to talk about when it comes to the roof. Tesla has made some improvements here to the coating that they put on the glass. So now it is letting in less heat. And you can certainly feel that when I stick my hand up here on a bright sunny day. There's just a lot less heat setting up here, warming up the cabin. I certainly appreciate this improvement for the L.
All right, so here in the second row is where things start to heat up for this Model YL. Let's go ahead and dive in with your measured specs. Tesla hasn't fully shared it, but this is definitely a lot of legroom. The regular model is rated at 40.5 inches, and I'd say this is the same, if not better. And then they say the headroom is increased for the Model YL, sitting at almost 42 inches of headroom, and boy, I can really tell that. Now, I also brought the official Car Confections ruler with me behind Drew's 5'8" driving position. I am 5'9", sitting at about 11.5 inches of additional knee room with the seat slid all the way back. And speaking of the seats themselves, I want to talk about that real quick. As you can see, we have captain's chairs on this Model YL. That is standard equipment. Currently, there's no bench available, so that means your maximum seating capacity is 6 passengers for this model. And the seats themselves are incredibly adjustable. So I'll have Drew pan down there to the side to see that you have standard power adjusting seats here on this new Model YL. That's definitely an unheard of feature in this segment. Not many other 3 rows are doing this unless you're paying nearly double the price for this. Now, as far as some of the tricks for the seat, as you can see, there's no armrest on the other side because they're power retractable. I don't think I've ever seen that from any other car on the market. So definitely really cool. And then as you can see, this has a lot of room to slide forward and back, and I can recline a good amount, adjust my headrest. I am really set back here. Now, we're not done when it comes to features as well, because if we move over here to the middle, you have 2 USBs sitting below and then retractable cup holders as well. But really the main part of this rear area is this screen. This is a dedicated 8-inch screen for the rear seats in this model. Standard equipment, by the way, and you can do things like adjust your fan speed, go through and adjust your standard heated and ventilated seats for the second row or the heated seats in the third row. And then you can even do things like listen to music, connect Bluetooth headphones to this dedicated screen, and watch things like YouTube. Really, this is first class flying here in the second row of this Model YL. I do also want to mention that for this new model, they've added B-pillar vents to give you some extra ventilation, as well as these electronically adjustable vents in the middle. And finally, for your door trim, it's pretty well materialed. You have soft touch materials on the top, a little bit of ambient lighting, and then some more of that cloth and leatherette going throughout. Lots of door storage down at the bottom as well. So the reason you have these power retracting armrests is because these seats cannot actually fold forward and tilt out of the way or kind of pop up. As you can see, that's about the maximum way that you can get it to fold down to get into the third row area. So they just give you this center pass through instead. So let me go ahead, climb in, close the door, and climb back. All right, guys, and here's the new third row in this Model YL. Just so you know, I went ahead and scoot this seat halfway forward, so I still have 6 inches of knee room up in the second row. And let's go ahead and talk about these specs back in the third row. So you'll be sitting at about 31 inches of legroom and 38 inches of headroom. Now, those are pretty good figures. They're not going to be class leading in terms of 3 rows, but that is going to be bigger than things like the now discontinued Tesla Model X. And I also did bring the ruler back here as well to get a knee room figure, and we're still sitting at 3 inches of additional knee space, so that is really impressive. If there's only one thing I could complain about as far as the space goes, I'm a little lacking on thigh support. But let's dive into the features back here. Speaking of this area down here, you do have integrated USB-Cs under the seats here, so you can stay charged in the back. Additionally, you'll find a leatherette wrapped armrest. That's not a given in a 3 row. A cup holder, as well as your power recline. As you can see, you can get quite a bit of adjustment out of the third row seats. Also have vents here in the pillar. Another thing that's not a given. Lights back here as well, and as I already mentioned, these seats are going to be heated. So as far as things go on our third row rating scale, not only is this really pretty spacious, it's also really well equipped. So I'm going to say that this is fit for adults. Now let's dive into the cargo capacity. First off, you do have a hands-free power opening trunk for this model. And once it opens up, you'll be greeted by the cargo capacity in this all-new Tesla Model YL. Now, I want to start off the bat and say Tesla has not provided full cubic feet measurements for this model. You only have a maximum, which is 89 cubic feet, which is really going head to head with that all-new Rivian R2, which is just about 90 cubic feet. But overall, you can really visually see that there's quite a bit of space back here. So starting behind the third row, I want to show off a couple of features real quick. So you have the cargo cover here that when you lift up, it magnetically clicks into place. Really cool, so you don't have to worry about falling down. And then you see this pretty big pit underneath as well. They did have a demonstration at the launch of this model that did show a full-size stroller here in the back. So if you are worried about that usability, that's definitely a potential for this new Model YL. And then once I go ahead and fold this down, you can see these switches over here on the left side. This allows you to one-touch power fold all 4 of your seats behind the first row, and that will give you your full 89 cubic feet of cargo capacity. One more trick, because as you can see here, this is kind of a uneven load floor. You can just come in here and lift up these little toggles, and that will allow you to use this cargo cover to, if I can get it to sit, there we go. Fully flat load floor now. So Tesla really thought of all of the little things when it comes to loading cargo into this new model. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get our cargo length, width, and height figures. And let me go ahead and start out with the full measurement behind Drew's 5'8" driving position. You're sitting at about 84 inches of overall length. Behind the second row, you'll be sitting at roughly 48 inches or 4 feet. And then behind the third row, another impressive measurement, about 19.5 inches for the new Model YL. As far as the width goes, about 39 inches wide. And then finally for your load-in height. That's really impressive, sitting at about 26 inches. Most crossovers are going to be around 30. And then finally for any other features back here, you have some massive pits on the left and right side.
Now standing over here at the charge port so we can get into some additional details about this vehicle. Now, like I was mentioning at the beginning, it has an 83 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack and dual motor all-wheel drive. That together makes 496 horsepower. And even though, of course, this is a larger than normal Model Y, it goes 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. So that is quite impressive overall. Now your range figures are going to be 325 miles as the maximum. If you get the larger wheels, it's going to drop you just slightly to 320 miles. And of course, let's talk a little bit about charging. Of course, this has the North American charging standard since Tesla invented that. And your charge rates are going to be 250 kilowatts, which is pretty good. It's not the best you can get out of an EV, but it is pretty strong overall. That's good for 164 miles of range in about 15 minutes. Now this is vehicle to load capable, so you can power different types of accessories or go into your Tesla charging bank if you have one of those at home. And Josh mentioned earlier that the launch edition comes standard with full self-driving for a year. It also comes standard with 1 year of free supercharging. And finally, there's a few more enhancements for the Model YL. This does come with standard adaptive dampers, and these are tuned specifically for the Model YL. And you even have a drive mode, which emphasizes rear occupant comfort. Additionally, Tesla says that this has a package which helps the NVH to be lower than other versions of the Model Y. And those are certainly things we cannot wait to put to the test when we go and drive this vehicle in just a few more days. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel where we will be taking this out on the road and, like I said, putting those things to the test.
Let's talk pricing. So as we've mentioned throughout this review, the only model going to be offered at launch is going to be the Launch Series. So that's built upon the premium model. So your starting price for this trim will be $61,990. And so you can't really add much more after that. As equipped today, you'll be sitting right around that price point. So overall, that will be matching things like the new Rivian R2 Performance model, and that does not offer a third row as of now. Now, we do hope to see some additional models introduced in the future, and I think we will just see that happen. Now, if you're looking to buy this Model YL or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. On there, you can get access to things such as an invoice pricing tool, which is a great tool to use for dealership negotiation. You can also access things on there such as a monthly payment tool as well. So if you're curious into checking that out, you can find it in a link in the video description, as well as a pinned comment at the top of this video. Now, when it comes to Tesla's warranty, you are covered by a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic warranty, and for your powertrain and battery warranty, it's going to be covered by 8 years and 120,000 miles. You do not get any complimentary maintenance. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed this in-depth review of the all-new Tesla Model YL. If you enjoyed getting to watch this video and all of the newest details for this Model Y, we would encourage you to subscribe down below. When you do that, that helps us get access to all of the latest and greatest cars. If you're already a fan and subscriber, thank you for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.